What's up guys, this is Joseph with Slidio Studios. Today we're taking a look at the Tilta Nucleus-N follow focus system. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about with this system is the actual build quality. And I will tell you, this thing is built like a beast. So you have a very high quality wooden knob. The whole body itself is made out of this very high quality plastic with a nice metal top. It just feels really nice. The buttons also feel great, which is a huge plus, especially when you want something that's reliable, that's going to be on the field, and it's going to get pushed. It's going to be used quite a lot in a professional environment where you need something very reliable. So that is a huge win for the in terms of the build quality. The actual module itself is also built very nicely. So I actually have it on my camera right now. The gears feel very nice. In the chance that you do end up breaking the actual plastic gear that goes to the lens, you are also able to replace it. They have replacements on their website. The motor itself is it's relatively small. And the whole build quality itself feels really nice. You also get a display on the actual module and also on the actual handle over here, which is also really nice. Everything just feels really secure. Another huge plus of this is the accessories that it come with. The actual mounting plate to mount to your camera is one of the best mounting plates I've ever seen. Like, I'm being serious. Even if you're not interested in this follow focus system, I would get the actual mounting plate. The reason for that is because there's this little ledge, and it just fits on your camera perfectly. One of the biggest complaints that I'm sure a lot of you guys have too with tripods is it's hard to make sure your camera is aligned. You just eyeballing it. You're trying to look around to make sure it's aligned. With this, because there's that plate in front, it just pushes on top of the camera body and ensures that it's aligned. And then when you mount it onto a quick release plate on a tripod or on a gimbal system, there's two extra screws that you could use to just make sure everything is aligned. Very good system, and everything just feels really nice in general. So that's the build quality and that's some of the accessories it comes with. It also comes with these accessories for your photo lens, which are very finicky, but they do work in a pinch, but they look really bad. They also get in the way sometimes. So if you do have a photo lens and you're planning to use it for applications where you want to get those, you want to be able to rack focus, I would probably recommend 3D printing them if you have access to a 3D printer, or buying a different set of these adapters specifically that will fit your lenses. I'm pretty sure you can find those on eBay. A lot of people just print them and sell them online, but that would be recommended. But in a pinch, these do work. They're just not. I would not use these if you want reliability. I will look into different systems. The other accessories come with is a bunch of Allen wrenches to lock onto the actual plate. There's a very specific Allen wrench that it uses to do that. So there's that. It also comes with a mounting kit for the Ronin S series, and also on the Crane 2. Now, I don't have those two gimbals with you. I have used those gimbals before, and I have actually used their follow focus system, so I can talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so you do have these mounting plates. Unfortunately, it does not fit on the current gimbal I have, which is the Weebill S. So if I want to use a system like this with the Weebill S, the connectivity works perfectly fine. It connects really nicely, but the fact that the knob doesn't attach pretty much means that I will only use this if I have an extra person whose job is just to rack focus. So if I'm on a crew production, then I'll probably use something like this. Otherwise, I'm kind of forced to use the actual follow focus that came with the Weebill S. And you know how I feel about follow focus on the Weebill S. It's not really good at all. Anyways, so there is that. So if you have the Crane 2, perfect. If you have the Ronin S series, perfect. If you have the Weebill S, then you're kind of out of luck. You will need to get a separate operator just for this. And then the last thing that it comes with is, the last important accessory it comes with is this battery charger. And here comes the first complaint that I have with these before we even talk about this, is this is just really, really bad. These two contacts have to fit on the batteries perfectly. They use a magnet system. It's just a very questionable system. And then this light, this shows a blue and red light depending on when it's charging, when it's not charging. If the battery dies, you don't even know. It's just a really, really bad system. And another thing is I actually had one of these batteries die on me. Like the actual battery just refuses to charge. I thought it was the charger, and it wasn't the charger because it was able to charge my other batteries. I contacted Tilta. They did not send me a replacement battery, which I understand, but also I only had the follow focus system for about 4 months. So I would expect them, obviously there were some defects with the battery. They just said the battery wasn't covered by the warranty. Whatever, the good thing is these batteries are cheap, but I would like to see Tilta honoring their warranty system. They did send me a link though to buy a extra 4-pack on eBay. I don't remember the actual price, but I would definitely recommend these considering the fact that I had a battery already fail within 4 months. Another reason I would recommend these is they come with this much better battery charger where it actually uses these spring contacts, just a lot more reliable, and there's actually light indicators that make sense. You know, red means it's charging, green means it's fully charged. That just makes a lot more sense than whatever this thing was on. So I would definitely recommend this, and also extra pack of batteries, because the last thing you want is the day before set you realize the batteries are dead. So having this, and it also comes with a nice holder as well. So there's that, and then the last thing that it comes with is a nice carrying case. I don't usually use this just because this feels really durable. There's no reason for me to need to store in a case. And most of the time I already have it on the camera, so it just doesn't make any sense. But if you do want to be able to store this, it is nice that they include a relatively nice case. So those are the accessories for you. Now I kind of want to talk about the actual functionality of this thing. So the knob itself just feels really, really nice. I feel like it's the perfect amount of resistance, not too much or too little. You can go really slow with it, or you can go really fast and it feels relatively smooth. There are 2 hard stops, which you might be able to hear on the mic with this. And I actually like that system versus something on the Genuine or on the DJI, where it's actually it just moves forever, and it's kind of hard to work with. So I like having hard stops. There is a USB port here, very useless though, because you're not able to actually charge the battery. I actually, the first time I got this, I actually thought this charged the battery. I had it like just plug in and stuff. Wasn't able to do that. But yeah, the knob itself feels really nice. One thing I wish it did have is like markers and stuff, so you know how much you're turning. It does have this display on the right which shows you how much you're turning, but it's kind of pointless. I would prefer it to have actual markers, but that's a relatively small things. So on the top here you have your record button, which is also how you turn it on. You hold it for 3 seconds, that turns the thing off, and you hold it for 3 seconds to turn it on. Pretty useful. And then if you have it connected to your camera that's compatible with this, you can just press REC to start recording. And there's also a nice vibration motor in here, which is quite nice. I like that a lot. It's just a small touch. Unfortunately, this is not compatible with my camera. It might not be compatible with most cameras, but Nucleus, Tilta does have a list of cameras that's compatible with, so I'll just add that to the description of this video. So yeah, there is that. And it actually has a small LED light too to let you know when it's recording. It's kind of hard to see in daylight, but I'm sure at night it'll be a lot easier to see. And then you have your battery holder here, which is just, you know, your single battery. So like I said, a very small battery, which is quite nice. Battery life on this is about 5 hours-ish. It's very easy to accidentally forget to turn these off, and it's probably a good idea to just get, like I said, these 4 extra battery cap. It does come with 2 batteries though, but I would just get a 4-pack just to be on the safe side, considering that I've already had a battery that died. So yeah, that's pretty good. One complaint is you don't actually have any kind of battery life indicator on this, so you're kind of in the loss for how long it's gonna last. I kind of wish it has that, especially before set. You know how much battery and you know how much extra battery you need. It seems like it's such an easy thing to add. I'm not sure why they didn't add it. The other thing is you don't know when this thing dies. It doesn't tell you low battery. It just suddenly stops moving. Like the display still stays on, but it just won't actually do the focusing, and then you just end up being confused, like what's happening? Did I not connect the follow focus? Am I on the wrong channel? So I kind of wish it actually just shows you that it's low battery versus you just guessing what's going on. Again, it's not a big deal, but it is something that would help make this product a little better. Is having that low battery indicator, or having a battery indicator at all that kind of lets you know how much battery you have. So yeah, that's the battery for you. Let's talk about the controls of this thing. So on the top here, you have the first button that you see is the calibration button. You hold this down for 3 seconds, and you actually feel a vibration too. You have to hold it down for 3 seconds to prevent any accidents. I really like that about this. And that goes through from that basically move the motor from all the way to the left until it feels the torque, and then all the way to the right until it feels the torque, and that's how it knows the minimum and maximum, which is pretty nice. You also have the record button, which we talked about. You have the up-down buttons for changing the channels. It also, in order to actually change the channels, you gotta press it twice, which is another great system. It prevents, like I said, accidental pressing of the buttons. And then you have the down for moving to the down channel. And then you have the set button here, which unfortunately does not have accidental production. So the set button allows you to set the A and B waypoints, which is very useful. But the problem is it's very easy to accidentally press this, and now you're probably on A and B point without knowing it, and you end up racking focus and not knowing what's going on, why it's not racking focus. The good thing is it actually shows on the display. It shows you if you're on A and B mode, if you're setting the waypoint for B, or if you're on free mode. So that's good at least. But I don't understand if they have that system where you have to double press or hold it down, why can't they add that to the set button? Maybe in a future software update. I sure hope so. So yeah, there is that for you. To rack focus is super easy. To set the waypoint is also super easy. You set it to the minimum that you want, then you press set, then you set to the maximum, and then you press set again, and then you'll show display on A. It's going from A and B. One thing though is I noticed that I don't know if it's just the lens I'm using, but when I set the A, it's nice, but when I set the B, it usually goes a little bit under. So I've just gotten used to going a little bit over and then setting the B. It's a small thing. Once you get used to it, once you know about it, it's not a big deal, but it's just like, if I say A and B, it should be A and B. I shouldn't have to go a little bit over to compensate for that. So that is a small thing. Once you get used to it, like I said, it's not a big deal, but it was kind of annoying in the beginning. So that's basically that. There's also a whole lot of settings that you can go for with this that I'm not going to go into. There's a lot of other videos out there. I'm here to just want to do a review of this. So now I want to talk about the actual module itself that goes to your camera. So it does have a brushless motor inside. It's a pretty small motor, but it's relatively powerful for most modern lenses. I am using the Mica 25mm lens, and that has a good amount of resistance on the focus ring, and it's able to do that perfectly fine. It's not the fastest follow focus system I've used, but it's fast enough for really anything that you ever need. But I have used follow focus system that are much faster than that, but I don't really see a point in having it any faster. And also I'm on a lens that's, pretty tight resistance. If you have an older lens, or if you know that the focus on your lens is very, very high resistance, this thing might not work. The good thing is Tilta makes different models that have more powerful motors to compensate for those lenses. But on modern lenses, it should work perfectly fine, because I find that the Mica follow focus is, especially on the 25mm, is actually the stiffest that I've used compared to the Raw Canon and the SLR Magic. So this is probably the worst case scenario on a modern lens, and it's working pretty nicely. In terms of the controls on the actual module, you basically only have 2 buttons for controlling channel up and channel down. I kind of wish it has a calibration button, just so that you don't always need the remote to calibrate. Even the Genuine and the DJI have a calibration button right on the actual follow focus module. That just makes a lot more sense, but it's not a big deal at all. It is what it is. In terms of the actual gears, they seem very strong. They are plastic gears to protect your lens, so that makes sense. But if in the case that the gears do break, it is very easy to replace, which is also another huge plus. In terms of powering the system, you have basically 3 ways to power it. If you're lucky enough where your camera can provide the direct power, that's probably the easiest way. You can just connect the micro USB. Oh yeah, and it does use micro USB, which is just, I don't know, I usually prefer USB-C now since that's a new thing, and also the connector itself is just better in general. But it's not a big deal, like I said. So you have to get a USB, you have to get a adapter to be able to connect it from your camera, and that's if your camera directly supplies power. Unfortunately, most cameras don't do that, including the GH5S I'm filming this with. So I do have to supply external power. So there's basically 2 other methods. One, connect it directly to the wall, which is a huge win because you don't have to worry about battery life. The other thing is get a small power bank and connect it maybe below your tripod or somewhere on your rig. Or I guess if you're on a gimbal, you can just connect it directly to the gimbal power, which also works fine. So yeah, those are powering methods. The thing I do want to say that I like about this is if the battery dies on the remote, if you were to replace the battery, you don't have to recalibrate it. It remembers the maximum minimum. Now, if the battery dies on the module, you might not need to recalibrate it. And what I mean by that is it remembers its last position, but let's say you actually move the focus a little bit, then you will have to recalibrate it. It will either go over or go under, so you will have to recalibrate. But if you just don't move it at all, then you don't have to recalibrate, which is a really nice addition. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. This is a very, very nice system. I really, really like the feel of this. For this price point, you are getting a lot of professional features, the waypoints, the way that this feels, the motor itself just works really, really well. It's been a pretty reliable system besides the battery issues that I have. But the actual software and hardware integration just works really well. I haven't had much issue with it. I've used this on many different shoots. The feel of this is just really nice, very durable. And I would highly recommend this. I mean, there's really nothing else in the market that offers this amount of features at this price point. So I'll put a link in the description for everything that I recommend with this. So, when you do get this, pretty much just add the extra cost of the batteries because you're definitely going to need it. So I'll also add that in the link in the description, which comes with the battery charger, another huge plus. Yeah, so that's the Tilta Nucleus-N follow focus for you. Highly recommend this product for anyone with a manual lens, or if you don't have a manual lens, if you have a photo lens, for example, as long as you can get something that's better than this, like I said, you can probably find them on eBay. If you have a 3D printer, I would print them myself. And if you can get to that, this is a really, really nice system, and it just works really well. I don't have any latency problems with it. It's just very, very reactive, and I really, really like this system. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time with another video.